How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to talk about these handsome bastards. If he focuses, why is this autofocus such a pain? There we go. These guys are called Interceptors. See little spikes on the top of their head, or behind their heads on their backpacks? That means they can teleport around the battlefield. It's that one little detail that makes the difference. Stick around to find out more. Whee! The Humble Interceptor. These guys have been one of my favourite units for a long time. They're a little different in the book now, alright? I can't use them the way I used to completely. I can to a degree. They definitely have a different way of playing now. It's not necessarily worse. In some ways it can actually be a bit better. But here we go, I'll explain them. Let's talk about their stats. We have a movement of 12. Now, it's typical Grey Knights are 6, so this guy's double that, which is good. And he's fast attack. He's our only fast attack option, so if you love playing fast attack choices, this is it for you. Weapon skill, ballistic skill, both of 3+. He has toughness and strength, both of 4. 2 wounds, which is cool because he's never had 2 wounds before. 3 attacks, decent amount of attacks. Leadership 7 and a 3+ save. The Justicar is basically exactly the same, except he has 4 attacks and a leadership of 8. He comes standard with a Stormbolter, a Nemesis Force Sword, Frag, and Crack Grenades. So Stormbolter, standard thing that we always have. It is strength 20 damage. I just lost myself there. He is at range 24. That's what I'm trying to say. Rapid Fire 2, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. And the Force Sword is melee, +1 strength, AP -3, 2 damage. Any number of models in this unit can have their Nemesis Force Sword replaces one weapon from the melee weapons list. You have in there falchions, which are strength user, AP -2, 1 damage, and you get an additional attack. You'll get 4 attacks to your basic guys, 5 on the Justicar. You've got the Halberd, which is strength +2 instead of 1, but it's only AP -2 instead of AP -3 and 2 damage. It's better against different things. I'm probably going to do a separate video just on the weapon profiles because there seems to be lots of controversy on what's best. There's also the option to take a hammer. It's the only thing that costs extra points. It's 10 points. It's strength ×2, AP -2, and it's a flat 3 damage. Which is good because you combine that with Edict Imperator, you've got suddenly a 4 damage hammer dude just running and smashing things. You've also got the Stave. It is +3 strength, AP -1 and 2 damage. The Stave also has a special stratagem connected with it. So if you're getting shot at, you can pop the stratagem and the Stave guy does like a Gandalf and goes, "Thou shalt not pass." Suddenly all your interceptors get a 5+ invulnerable save versus the shooting. Now, you got to be careful with it. If your opponent knows that you have this ability and they're going to try and bait it out of you, sometimes they're going to just try and get you to try and put it on something so you cast it so they can tell you what they really want to kill. It's a bit of a mind game there, but don't let them beat you because you're a Grey Knight player, you're not allowed to. For every 5 models of this unit, 1 model Stormbolter and Nemesis Force Sword can replace the 1 weapon from the special weapon list. So in this you've got your silencers, you've got your side cannons, and you've got your incinerators. It just depends on what you want to do with them. For me, I find Interceptors have a couple of good things they can do. The first one is they can get up quickly to clear the chaff away. Sometimes the flamers can be good for that. Other times you might just want to use the bolters. The Psycho and the silencers both do unfortunately suffer from the negative hit when you move, so that can be a little bit painful sometimes. You can just move up and you're hitting on 4s instead. There is a stratagem you can use to make it so you count as being stationary. I think it counts as stationary or +1 to hit. I think it's stationary if you move, so they'll then hit on 3s, and your storm bolters will do 4 shots at 24 inches. So Yeah, so you got some options there. Personally, I like to just get them as melee'd up as possible, and occasionally I'll take them with flamers. I think I have flamers back here. No, they're in the other room. So I've magnetized the backpacks on a lot of my special weapon guys just so I can change them out. You can see like this dude. Backpack off. Oh, look at that. He can go into strike mode or interceptor mode whenever he wants. So that's off the table flexibility for you. Now they come with the standard rules of Knights of Titan, Combat Squads, and Teleport Strike. So you can deep strike them in if you need to. The thing with Grey Knights is you can really do an overwhelming punch from deep strike. The problem is you do have to have 50% of your army on the table. Typically I like some things that can move around, so Interceptors are usually one of those units for me. They have a rule called Personal Teleporters. Each time this unit makes a normal move, advances, or falls back, models in this unit can be moved across other models and their bases as if they were not there. And they can be moved within engagement range of enemy models. In addition, any virtual distances up or down that they make as part of that move is ignored. However, these models cannot finish this move either on top of another model or its base or within engagement range of any other models. Now, you could just say, why not give them a fly keyword? The thing is, this is actually better because first of all, they're not going to get plus to hit versus things that have fly. There's a lot of stuff out there that can go +1 hit versus flying, so they don't suffer from that. Secondly, they can go into rhinos. Assault Marines can't do that. You can stick these guys in a rhino turn 1, sitting there doing its thing. When it's your turn, after you've been shot at or whatever, they can then jump out there 3 inches, then they can move a 12-inch move, and they've kind of slingshot themselves 15 inches. If you're in assault range after that, great, but if not, it's not the worst thing in the world either because it's not always the job. Now, the other thing is they're psychers. They have smite built in. Obviously they have the Brotherhood ability, so whatever Brotherhood you take as well. And they have Ethereal Castigation. Now the way that works is in your psychic phase, you cast that and they then have the ability to shoot and then they make a move, okay? So let's say you did your 15 inches out of your rhino, you can then cast that, shoot something, and then move another 12. So you've actually made it a little bit further than 24. So you can often be in your opponent's deployment zone with these guys turn 1, which can get you some line breaker points, all right? So that's a little thing there, but if you're against someone who's a bit canny and knows what they're doing, that's not gonna happen. Now, the other thing that's very interesting to point out is this Ethereal Castigation that allows you to shoot in your psychic phase, okay? If there's a lot of chaff around and you need to clear that to get other models somewhere else important, these guys can do that for you. You move them up, you cast the ability, they shoot in your psychic phase, and then you either move them away out of line of sight into cover or somewhere that's protected, and then you can cast Gate of Infinity on a different unit, and then that can get shot into the gap you've just made, okay? So often you'll have players, they'll put like their crappy little chaff units around something that they want to protect. You can then clear that in your psychic phase and move something with Gate into that position to then attack that more juicier target, all right? A little trick there with some interceptors. Usually you're going to need a little bit more punch than just some bolters, so possibly you could use some of the flamers, things like that, but more often than not you'll chew through some things that way. Just depends how many units you'll need to do that with, but that's where you come into it. You can be the tactical genius on that one. Now they do have Imperium, Sancti Custodes, Grey Knights, and Brotherhood keyword. They are core, all right, so they will get all the rerolls and things like that you get from all your leaders and that kind of thing. I actually like them for a couple of the Brotherhood powers, so it actually makes them have a few different roles. So with the Sword Bearers, these are the guys that can move up and do the Empiric Lodestone. So So they just go up and go bang. Okay, I've moved my 12, I've used this power that's 18-inch range, and they've marked something ready for the extra damage coming from your Dread Knights, your Dreadnoughts, whatever it is, your Land Raider, and they've kind of marked it that way. You can use them as kind of like a bit of a rapid attack unit too. If you wanted to do that 15 inches out of a Rhino thing, you can. And then you can cast Incapable Pursuit from the Blades of Victory, gives you some reroll charge options. You might not necessarily want to just destroy something in combat, you might want to just tag it so it won't kill you. Ward Makers, you can move them up to unload the 12-inch psychic power to reduce, what are they called, the auras. Get rid of auras. Prescient Brethren, you can move them up. Like a lot of these powers, they're 12-inch range, you know. With the guys that can move 12, it gives them that 24-inch bubble, and then you can put that stratagem on to give it to 30 inches. Gives them some threat range with it. So Rapiers are good, you give them an extra attack. Like, they don't have hammer hands, so you're not going to be re-rolling your wounds in combat. They're a different unit to the strikes in that way. So having an extra attack might be useful for you. Silver Blades, you can shoot in combat with them. Sanctic Guardians, I do like their stratagem. So if you move these guys up, you can then bait your enemy into moving up close to them, and then you can, in their combat phase, you can heroically intervene with them. So Interceptors, they have a lot of utility. I might look at doing an actual tactical video on them at some point. If that interests you, write that in the comments and let me know. I'm actually a bit of a tool. I completely forgot to record two of the most important things about Interceptors. 2 stratagems they actually get access to. So these are from the Grey Knight Teleporter keyword. First one is called Fight on the Move. Use this stratagem in your movement phase when a Grey Knight teleporter unit from your army falls back. Till the end of the turn, that unit is still eligible to shoot and charge even though it fell back. This is something that all the other power armored dudes don't get access to. Make sure your Interceptors are a little bit more mobile. You can go and charge into some sort of weak weenie unit for a turn and just hold them up. You'll probably wipe them out, to be honest, because the Interceptors do have a fair bit of a punch. But then if you are caught up in a combat you don't like being in, or if you are in one of those little weenie combats and you just want to go and target something more dangerous, you can then just pull out, spend a CP, shoot something, charge something else. Very, very useful. The other one, so the old Shunt Rules, I did mention them, but I didn't go into how they've changed. So you used to be able to do a shunt each turn, once per game, with each of your units. You used to basically just pick them up off the table and put them down anywhere else. It's a bit basically like a built-in Gate of Infinity. It is now a stratagem. So the way I used to like playing was to just either be a little bit patient and then just go all in aggressive and shunt everything all at once, or I used to just make a little sort of second wave type scenario where the Interceptors would go in, shunt up, put out a bit of damage, put out some hurt, take a bit of fire. The next turn, the Deep Strikers would come in, they'd then do a bit of shooting, sacking, things like that, and then the Interceptors, what's left, would go forward. That you can't do anymore, because Teleportation Shunt is now a stratagem, so once per turn, once per player turn, per battle round. So it is 2 CP, so it is a bit on the expensive side, but still useful. Use this stratagem in your movement phase when a Grey Knight's teleporter unit from your army is selected to make a normal move. Instead of making a normal move with that unit, remove it from the battlefield and then set it back up on the battlefield anywhere that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. The unit can only be selected for this stratagem once per battle. Okay? So like before, you can only do it once per game, per unit. But now, being 2 CP, you're going to have to really think carefully before you do it. You're probably not going to shunt everything in the entire game, but the option is there to do it if you wanted to. Just boom, 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 boom. I can see it working nicely on a big unit of 10. just to put some initial pressure on or just tie something up. It's expensive though, it's 240 points without any more upgraded stuff. So if you really want to sacrifice 240 points of men, do it. Sometimes it may be the right option. The other thing is you can actually shunt these guys out of combat if they're already in combat. So if you're trapped in a combat, you don't want to do a retreat or anything like that, you just go bang, shunt, gone. The final thing I can think of off the top of my head with shunting is if you need to get onto an objective and there's nothing else that really has a chance to get there, you need to just go from boom, boom, shunt, bang. That could possibly score you points in a game. You can either get engaged on fronts with it, you can get objectives secured, you can get whatever you need to do objective wise. It's movement based. So yes, the two stratagems, two most important things with Interceptors, and I almost forgot to tell you. Till next time, cheerio.